Hey guys, welcome back to Karting with Chris. Today we are back racing. It's been a long time since we did our last video, but we're finally back. We're here at DKC doing the March Rental League race, and this is actually the first league race for DKC of the year, and it's also my first race of the year. So we're gonna try and do our best and start with a win. Now this was a sold out race because it's the first race of the year, and so there are 50 people in total in the lights class. That's what class I'm in. I'm not a chunky person, quite light. And so out of the 50 people, I qualified P1. So I'm starting on pole this race. The gap between me and second place was very close. And as you can see right here, these are the results of qualifying. Bryce, who qualified P2, was less than a tenth away from me, so very close. Now Bryce is starting in the back of the pack. He does this thing where he does last to first. You know, I'm not gonna call him out or anything, but I kind of started that. But yeah, he's starting in the back, and hopefully we don't see him throughout this race because that would mean we're going quite slow. So let's get into this race. Again, starting on pole. I go very slow whenever I start on pole. You know, it does depend on what track, how you start the race, but I love starting the race very slowly. And so you can see I'm going quite slow. I'm also holding it very narrow. I don't want anyone diving me up the inside going into turn one. So I wait for the flagman to wave green. Flagman waves green, we're good to go. I actually get a really good start. The guy beside me, I don't know, he must have been caught napping because it's kind of uncontested these first couple of corners. Now one thing I noticed is that my kart has a lot of good bottom end. And that's going to also allow me to kind of pull away at the start. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to pull away at the start because if I can establish a gap early on, then the people behind will start fighting with each other and it'll allow me to move further ahead. Now for this race, the opening lap was pretty easy. Like I said, not a lot happened for me. And that's a good race. A good race is where nothing happens. You just lead the whole time. Now I will say, my car had really good bottom end, and I could figure that out on the warm-up lap because on the warm-up lap you need to really test everything, test the handling, the brakes, the acceleration. But one thing you can't test on the warm-up lap is your kart's top speed, unless you're doing an insanely fast warm-up lap. And so going down the straight here, I'm kind of noticing that it doesn't really have the best top end. So this can be very frustrating because I put a lot of effort into qualifying to put it on pole, and then you just don't have the best kart in the world. Now the one thing that's saving me right now is my bottom end isn't bad, but around this track, most of the corners are full throttle, so you really need that top end, especially to pass someone, you need that top end. Another saving grace that's helping me out right now is the people behind me are fighting a lot. There's a train of about 6 people behind me, but I still have a decent gap. It's not big. If I make a mistake, they'll definitely be on me, but the gap is there to where I don't have to really defend right now, and I kind of can focus on my own race. Now, one of the bad things from a content creation point of view is when you're in first, there's nothing in front of you, so you can't see anything from the camera, but I assure you there are people behind me, and so we skip ahead. We're on lap 4 now. And you can kind of see in the shadows sometimes that there is another kart behind me. And so right here, I'm turning in early into these corners. A, because I don't have the speed down the straight, so I'm really not scrubbing a whole lot. And B, I don't really want them looking up my inside. But going down into turn 1 here, they're going to have a look anyways. And so I'm going to hold it around the outside. That'll give me the inside for turn 2. And like I said, I had decent bottom end. And so I was able to kind of pull away and go through the chicane and the bull up ahead uncontested. But they're right there, and they're poking their nose, letting me know that I'm holding them up. So going down the straight, you're going to see just how slow my kart is in a straight line. This is when my friend Ven and Bryce, Ven's in kart 29, Bryce is kart 7. Like I said, Bryce started in last, so he's in second place now. You see just how easily they pass me and pull away from me going down the straight. So this is a real eye-opener. And this is just when everyone starts passing me. They all knew I was slow, and so whenever the first person passed me, the floodgates open, and everyone else started passing me. Like I said, there was a train of like 6 people behind me, so I was holding them up for 4.5 laps, so that's not bad. but only 3 of the 6 people have passed me so far, and going into turn 1 here, the rest of them all follow suit, and now all 6 have passed me. I probably should have gone defensive there, but it's easy to say that in hindsight. But yeah, now there's really no one behind me. There is one person behind me, but the gap is too big to kind of really worry about. I want to focus on the people in front. You can see down the straights, I just cannot keep up with them. Going down the straight here, you know, even in the slipstream, they all pull away from me so easily. But they are fighting a lot, and there's only a handful of laps left in this race, so there isn't really a whole lot of time left. And so everyone's trying to gain as many positions as possible before the race ends. And so you can see a lot of defending up ahead, a lot of people going side by side. And so this is going to kind of keep me within tabs of everyone else. It's the only way I can kind of keep up because, like I said, you need straight line speed for this race. So up ahead we see kart number 3 deploying the lean forward. You don't see that a whole lot in rental racing. I don't think it really does a whole lot. Aerodynamically, you still have that crossbar. And weight-wise, these carts are heavy as hell, so I don't see a whole lot of people leaning forward. I don't lean forward in rental carts. But we see the flagman waving 2 to go, and kart 3 did pass kart 10, so the lean did work for him. And like I said, you know, we're still nipping at the heels, not quite on anyone's bumper here. But like I said, if they keep passing each other, then we're going to still be here. But being behind them is not what I want. I want to be ahead of them. So whenever one of them makes a mistake, I gotta pounce on it. I can't, you know, stay behind them for very long. Because my plan here is get ahead of someone and then maybe just defend for the rest of the race. Like I said, flagman wave 2 to go. We're almost on the last lap here. I need to get ahead of someone. So coming out of this, I call this the last corner right here. These last couple of corners up here is mainly a straight, because it's all full throttle. Kart 10 not getting the best of exits, and so I look up the inside. Like I said, I do not have the top end, and so you can see he's starting to kind of pull away from me towards the end of the straight here. Flagman's waving last lap. By the time we get into turn 1, I couldn't really make a move. I wasn't really close enough. There is someone behind me, so I do need to watch out for that. That's why I went semi-defensive. Kart 10 dipping a wheel on the exit here. At this point, I'm focusing all my energy on kart 10. Going into the bowl up ahead, I could have dived up the inside, but I thought better. I thought he would have passed me going down this straight right here, and I didn't want that to happen. Looking behind, making sure the guy behind me isn't going for the move. He's not really that close, so I don't think he's going to go for it. And then going into the double right-hander, kart 10 washes out wide. I dive up the inside, and I immediately go over to the left-hand side. I do not want him sending it up the inside going into this left-hander up ahead. So go defensive, going into the left-hander, hold it narrow. I have the bottom end, like I said. We're actually going 3 wide here because the person behind me is now part of this race. But I'm going to have the inside going through these last couple of corners right here. And it is going to be a drag race to the end, but fortunately, I just had enough momentum, and we finished in 6th place. So, not the best race in the world. The first half of the race was pretty good. We were leading it, but obviously we didn't really have the kart, and so we got passed by everyone, losing 5 positions. We're going to transition into the final race here. You can see we're starting 5th. That's because Bryce, who started 5th, wanted to start last again. And so that bumps us up into 5th place, which is good because we're starting on the inside going into turn 1. So my plan for the start of this race is just to keep my nose clean, don't get into any incidents, and just do the best I can. I don't really know what kind of kart I have right now. I tried during the warm-up lap trying to figure it out, but you know, sometimes you just go in blind. So the start of this race, I noticed the guy on pole, he didn't really cover the inside that much, and so I was going to look up the inside right here, but I went to put my foot down, and the kart really did not move. But flagman waved green, we're good to go. Like I said, we had the inside for turn 1, and so we didn't lose any positions, but we had the outside for turn 2, and that caused us to lose 2 positions right here. Now up ahead we see kart number 14. I was told that kart was terrible, so I didn't want to get stuck behind him, so going into the bowl up ahead, I just send it up the inside. Like I said, you don't want to get stuck behind slow cars. I'm not calling him a slow driver, but even the best driver, kart 14, I was told, is just a terrible kart. So we move up into 6th pretty quickly, and this is kind of reminiscent of the last race we had. We're in 6th, and there's 5 karts in front of us, trying our best to get ahead of them. Now, the difference between this final versus the pre-final is my kart, although it didn't have the best bottom end, like we saw at the start of the race, it had really good top end. We're going to see it right here going down the straight right here. Kart 13, he's got the outside for these next couple of turns, and so we're going to send it up the inside, move up into 5th place, and like I said, top end was pretty good on this kart. Now, going into turn 1 right here, kart 16, that's Nathan. He locks it up, goes all sorts of sideways. I thought he was going to spin, so I kind of overreacted there. So losing 5th place right there, moving down into 6th. So that's not really going to help my progress. But there's still a lot of fighting coming out of the chicane right here. And going into the bowl, I'm going to follow kart number 13 on the inside of Nathan. Now, Nathan holds it around the outside pretty well. He has kart 16. You can see how good of a run he gets out of the bowl right here. I had kart 16 in qualifying, and I put it on pole with that kart. So I know that's a decent kart, and Nathan is a great driver, so he's going to be hard to beat. Going through the double right-hander, Nathan kind of goes narrow, kind of sends it up the inside, and that kind of pushes kart 13 wide. So we pass kart number 13, move back up into 5th place. There's a lot of fighting right now, and you see first up ahead, that's my friend Ven. He's kind of pulling away from everyone, so I don't want him to pull away from everyone. I need to pass these people as quick as possible, and just don't let them pass me back. I need to pull away from them because, like I said, I've got a fast kart, and whenever you have a fast kart, you can't really dilly-dally. You need to pass people and start pulling away, and once you get into the lead, just establish a lead. So going through turn 2 up ahead, kart number 5, he's going to look up the inside of Nathan right here. I'm going to kind of follow kart number 5, have the inside for the chicane. Nathan and I go side by side, but I'm going to get a better exit. And so going into the bowl, I think he kind of backed out of it. And so I'm going to pass him and move up into 4th place. Another good thing to do whenever you're passing people or making your way through the pack is just let the people in front of you do all the work. You saw right there, kart number 5, he looked up on the inside of Nathan. He does the same here on kart number 15. And so you just need to really follow them into the move. Now, I wasn't quite close enough to go and follow kart number 5 through the double right-hander, but I get the move done going through this left-hander. We move up into 3rd place, and like I said, I just need to really kind of follow kart number 5. Now, you can see my top end is much faster than kart number 5, but one thing I'm also noticing is both our top ends are much faster than Ven in 1st place. You can see just how quickly we close down the gap of Ven up ahead. Now, another thing whenever you're making your way through the pack is if you're not going forward, you're going backwards. And so kart number 5 right here, he looks for the move on Ven, doesn't quite work out, not going forward, he's moving backwards. And so we get a good run coming out of turn 2. And so we pass number 5, move up into 2nd. Like I said, Ven did not have the fastest kart in the world. And we're about to see it right here going down the straight. And it's a little deja vu right here, except roles reversed. This time I'm the faster kart, and Ven is the slower kart. And it's actually the same corner. So I got him back, moved up into 1st place, and now we just got to establish that gap. Like I said at the start of this final race, once you get into 1st and you have a fast kart, you need to establish gaps. And establish a gap I did. I was able to kind of pull away from the people from behind. It wasn't that big of a gap from behind, but it was comfortable enough to where I didn't really have the pressure of them, and so I was able to kind of just run my own race. So we're on lap 11 here. Another thing that has come to my attention is a lot of you guys watch my videos just to get faster, which I think is really cool. I love hearing it. I love it when you guys come up to me and say hello. So I really appreciate that. So for this last lap here, I'm not sure if this was my fastest lap, but I'm just going to walk you through what I was doing. And keep in mind, every kart's different and every person's different. So going into the 1st corner right here, you can brake pretty late. Try and brake past the white line. That's the timing beacon. Going through turn 2, make sure you hit that apex. Sometimes it's a little hard. Full throttle through turn 2. Through the chicane right here, hit both apexes. Full throttle again. Through the bowl, I kind of tend to turn in a little early sometimes. It's banked so it can kind of pull you around the corner. Again, full throttle. Full throttle all the way down to this double left-hander up ahead. Now this double left-hander, you can go a lot faster than people think. Whiff of brake just to get the rear end to rotate, then back on the gas. Don't go out too wide right there. I've noticed that if you go out too wide, you do scrub a little speed. And then going into this left-hander right here, brake nice and early, and then get on the gas early as well. There's a lot of track out. You can get on the gas really early. And then for these last couple of corners, I'm still trying to experiment what the best way is. I'm seeing a lot of different lines. It's full throttle, but it's just, you know, where is it better to have your kart? You know, is it better to have it around the inside, or is it better to track out? You know, I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't drive this track a whole lot, so I'm still figuring these things out. But my lap time was a mid 66. So if you're within a couple seconds of that, I think you're doing something right. But we finished this race in first place. First race of the year, first race back in a long time, and we start out with a dub. Hopefully we can do some more races this year and continue a bit of a win streak. But that's all I'm going to have for today. If you like the video, please consider subscribing. If you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, please do comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.